And that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with absolute love. You see, he says, you turn to me, I'll turn to you. So he's already said yes. And as a matter of fact, that's all he says is yes. You're operating the power. So you're not operating a little power. You're operating the power. Yeah, I was just asked, what is my religion? My religion is consciousness. What else? Hey, you're in charge, even if you're out of control. You know if you're out of control. I mean, you may lie to yourself pretty good about a lot of things, but you do know if you're acting out of control. And you're wondering why you're acting out of control. And that's because you're thinking out of control. See, you get out of trouble the same way you get in trouble. Thinking makes it so. It doesn't favor. See, God is no respecter of persons or their ideals. You see, he loves you regardless of what you're doing because he knows it's all a dream. And it is. You're told to dream the dream, and you're doing so. Recognize it. You're dreaming the dream. What are you dreaming? It's serious what you're thinking feelingly about. I'm telling you, it's really, and I hear people, I overheard conversations. I hear people, they're stabbing themselves and they don't realize it. Out of their own mouth, they're causing themselves harm. They're setting themselves up. Hey, like I said, I'll catch myself a dozen times a day if I'm paying attention. Where I'm setting myself up, I'm thinking about something I don't really want to do, so I'm setting myself up to do it because I'm thinking about it. See? And what you think feelingly about, you create. And then when you experience it, you complain about it, and wow, now you get complaint on your side. And then you just get more to complain about, and hey, you make a simple life hell. And then you're in it, saying, why me? Why this? Why now? All you have to do is watch your own inner conversations. That self-talk that's going on. You're praying ceaselessly. You know, that one really gets you. Right there, praying ceaselessly. You're actually praying with every word. Is that not right?
That's absolutely correct.
There it is. The whole story. You know, the whole story is told you over and over and over in scripture, but it's so clouded with the everydayness of the times that you can miss it really easy. I know how I missed it. And I was diligently looking to see what is this? What are they trying to tell me? I'm on all the time. There's no in between. You're either on or you're off. Positive, negative. Everything has an opposite. But because you were given to choose. See? And you're told to choose this day. So look what he did. Choose this day, and it's always this day. Right? There it is. It's always this day. Oh, you can hang any day you want on it, but it's always this day. So that means every day you have an opportunity to change your mind, change your world. And you actually do it a little bit here and there. Well, because you succeed every once in a while. But we're talking about succeeding all the time because you're in charge. That's what you're charged. You're charged to take charge. And you're the major builder. Even if you're out of control, you're still the builder. So your building might fall down. Yeah, all kinds of things can happen because thinking makes it so. And you're in the act of thinking feelingly, even while I'm talking to you, you're thinking about what I'm saying or what I should be saying. And I'm saying what I should be saying. So, hey, look, what we're doing, we're delivering you your information. Now, as to whether you use it or not, well, that's totally up to you. See, this is not telling you what to think. We're just telling you that, hey, are you aware that your thinking feelingly is actually your world being stretched out before you? Because you're always thinking ahead of your evidence. See? So all you have to do is just backtrack it just a little bit and see that you're thinking ahead of your evidence and that the evidence matches what you were thinking or a derivative of. Did that come out right?
It did. I want to touch on something you just said. You said the only thing that we're delivering to you is your message. And you and I had a conversation a few weeks back, and we were talking about this. And you told me, you said, listen, your responsibility is to give them the message. And that's it. What they do with it is on them. And that was so freeing because as a coach, a lot of times I feel like I'm responsible for their change. And you freed me of that by just saying that simple phrase, my responsibility is to deliver them their message. And what they do with it is up to them.
Even whether they send for it or not, it's always up to them. See, we're not telling you what to think. We're just telling you to watch what you think. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Certainly you can do that, can't you? I mean, yeah, you're just judging your own conversations. That's right. No, that's not leading me where I want to go. I'll push that outside. And look at all the things you set aside that you never got to. Huh? How about that? Never got to them. And yet they're the very thing you keep looking for, and you keep putting it aside. Why? Can't you think of a better idea? Doesn't it come down to just that?
It really does. It really does. As simple as that may be, it really does come down to just that.
Yeah. See, and even if you're not speaking out loud, you're still talking to self, suggesting to self. And I would watch that suggesting to yourself very closely because you see, you get out of problems the same way you got into the problem. Thinking makes it so. See, so if you back up a little bit and correct your thinking ahead of your evidence, then your evidence has to change, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See, and you don't have to take my word for it, right? All you have to do is test it.
That's it.
As long as you keep your mouth shut, thinking makes it so just as quickly. See, understand all prayer is answered, and you're praying ceaselessly. Now, if you sit and think about that for a while, you're praying ceaselessly, and all prayer is answered. You may not know what you're thinking, but you're still creating. That's right. You know, something you brought up earlier, it's not us thinking about the audience as picking up on this. That's not our business. We're telling them that, hey, be aware that this is out there for you to experience, and you can experience it because it's yours. See, it's there for you, everybody, even out in space. Yeah, well, we won't get into that right away. It's just today, that that's enough. See, he told you that just take care of the today, okay? Because you're thinking ahead of your evidence. So what you're thinking today, you might wind up experiencing tomorrow, unless you set a set time by what the situation is and what's happening with all the different people, and you get so involved in it, and then you wonder why you're experiencing it. You're rewarded just as quickly, positive or negative, because who made them? God. He made good and he made evil, but he gave you choose. See, so if there's somebody somewhere to lay the fault, it's always in your own backpack. You got a well hid in your backpack. You're on all the time. What else could I tell you that would be more important than that you're on all the time? You're constantly creating your world of experiencing, creating it. See, you're thinking ahead of it, but you're creating it. Now, knowing that you're doing the creation by what you think, then you actually are in charge. But if you're not paying attention to what you're for yourself to think about, then you'll be surprised, and not pleasantly sometimes either. But you look, the thing of it is that you're to choose. In other words, claim. Yeah, I like that, claim. See, I think it was Fox that wrote about claim. Yeah, uh, actually, that was the whole book. The fact that you come to a point where you're doing the claiming. Actually, you are doing so. You're not aware you're doing so. But when you become aware you're doing so, and the minute you become aware you're doing so, you start seeing what you're thinking, feelingly as an action in your world, and you're saying, no, 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 I don't want that. See, otherwise, you would say, well, who cares what I'm thinking? Actually, nobody else does care what you're thinking. But the point is, why aren't you? See, that should be your number one interest right there. And what happens is, well, actually, what happens is that as you begin to awaken, the world kind of falls away. You begin to see it as it really is, as a virtual reality. You understand? Virtual reality, not reality, but virtual reality. In other words, real enough for the drama man, solid and real enough for the drama man. Yes, that's true. But any scientist will tell you none of it is solid. But and as to what it is, I wouldn't get into that either because I'm not really that knowledgeable. But you're always thinking ahead of your evidence. I had a half a dozen of Neville's tapes. And I listened to them at least one every night for years before it actually touched base. I began thinking differently. The importance of having a CD, because what has your focus has your life. Think about it. We're not asking you to join anything, but you have to have the CDs. You have to have the DVDs. You have to listen to them. It's you training this. Listen, listen, listen.
But as Mr. Lindell stated, you have to listen to them repeatedly. And again, for those who are interested, click the link below and it will take you to the 4 CD set, and you'll be able to transform not only your mind, but your world.